And, I think the best thing to do to pre-frame and get, so those of you that haven't heard my story, I think I want to take just a couple minutes and tell you my story. It'll be old news for some of the ladies on the call, but so I see kids coming into the picture. So I immigrated to this country when I was 6 years old with my brother Albert, my mother's Vansha, and we immigrated from the Netherlands. That's where I was born, in Holland. And we ended up in Denver, Colorado, where I lived for 30 years. And we have a lot. We grew up pretty poor. I worked secondhand clothes from the Goodwill and the Salvation Army all the way through junior high school till I got a job at Burger King and got my own clothes. And then, we ate expired food. I remember we had to go to the day-old bread store, powdered milk. And, some of you may have had it harder or have it harder than I did, but I knew I wanted more than that. And luckily, my mom had an incredible work ethic. So she babysat kids like Michelle does so that we'd have enough money to eat. I remember there were times we had as many as like 16, 17 kids in our house. I'm sure it wasn't legal, but there was a lot of love in the house and we took good care of them. But with her babysitting money, she bought the house across the street from us when I was about 14 for $30,000. And then, Madeline, you too. Wow. And then, when I was 17, she told me it had gone up $20,000 in her sleep. And I was like, screw college. I'm getting into real estate. So I got my real estate license, and I won't take too much time on this. And in 2006, my net worth went up $17 million while I slept. But then I lost it all in 2008. I had a $50 million seminar. I lost everything. And so what I'd like to talk about tonight, ladies, is what it took to have $50 million to lose in the first place, and then what it took to get back to the success that I enjoy today. And so what it took was knowing exactly what I want and why I wanted it, okay? And focusing on that instead of the negative. It's so easy to focus on the negative, but what you focus on grows. And so it's critical to focus on the things that you want, not what you don't want, because it's going to get bigger, whatever you focus on. So I focused on the things that I wanted. So what I'd like to do is and I'm going to move pretty quick through this because I really want to add a lot of value to you guys. And with that goal setting guide, you can go back and finish this later. You can do it with your spouse if you have one later. You can do it with the kids if they're old enough. It's an awesome thing to go somewhere to the beach or a park and just and either finish it or even do this again with someone you love. But I'm going to move through it fairly quickly because it's late and I want to share some other things with you guys as well. But what I'd like you to do now is I want you to pretend it's Christmas. And there are no limits to what you can have. So I do not want you to limit yourself. I'm going to have you write down everything you could ever possibly want in life. But before you start, I want to tell you why this is so important. And that is, people will do New Year's resolutions. They'll put a couple things down. We're going to do much deeper than that today. And you'll see why when we're done. But when you write your goals down, it triggers something in your brain called your reticular activating system. And that's that filter in your brain that subconsciously filters out what it thinks is most important to you. Like right now, you're not thinking about what your butt feels like in the seat. Now that I mention it, that filter has just directed you to your thinking about that. The best example is like when you first buy a car. You never really notice them, but when you buy the car, you see them everywhere. And they were there before. It's just, that's your reticular activating system. And why this is so important is when you write your goals down and then you associate with them regularly, your brain will hone in on the things that it feels like are important to you, even subconsciously, to help you achieve those goals. That's why this is so important. So grab your sheets, make sure you got a pen, make sure you're well hydrated, drink some water. I'll have some water too. Because what we're going to do now is going to require energy. Energy is so critical for this process. You want to have high energy. And I want you to imagine if you write it down, it's yours. Because there is nothing on this earth you cannot do, be, or have. So I want you writing down everything you can think of. I'm going to put some music on. But I want you to start writing down everything that you want in life. Okay? The big things. The little things. Write down the stuff. There's nothing wrong with having stuff because you can share it. And it's a beautiful thing to share your things, you know. So what kind of cars do you want? Where do you want a house? You know, how much money do you want in the bank in a few years? How much money do you want, say, in 10 years? So start writing this stuff down, and this will be really, really powerful. And we're not going to take a long time on this, but it's just an incredibly powerful exercise if you've not done it with me before. So write down everything you can think of. Write down, where you might want a second home. And please don't limit yourself. If you feel like you want a private jet, write it down. If you want a private island, write it down. You want a yacht one day, write it down. So guys, get a pen, get some paper, and get going. I see some of you guys moving around, but I hope you'll do this process with me, because I promise you'll be glad you did. Okay? So write down the little things, the jewelry, the clothing. Write down, the cars, the boats, the jet skis, the planes, the motorcycles, all the stuff. Write that. Start there. Start with the stuff. And I'm going to guide you through this. So, hey, Shonda, write down all the stuff. So we're going to start there. And anything you could ever possibly want. Don't think about the how. Forget the how. Just the what right now. The how will happen if you can hone in on the what. So write down also what you want to do, maybe where you want to travel to in this lifetime. Okay, write that down. I've got a travel vision board. Write down, where you might want to go. We're going to go to Asia this year for sure. We're going to go to the Middle East maybe this year. Where do you want to go? Just looking for my vision boards, but they're back there. So in fact, I'll show you mine. So yeah, I've got a travel vision board right there, guys. The green screen's kind of screwing it up, but I've got, pictures of trains, pictures of Thailand, people ask my kids at my events, does he really do this stuff? Yes, he really does this stuff because it freaking works. Okay. So write down where you travel. Write down the things you want to do. Maybe you want to climb a mountain. Maybe you want to write a book. What have you always wanted to do? Write that down. So it's not just the stuff. Write down the things you want to do. I jumped out of a perfectly good airplane about 6 months ago. I will never freaking do it again, but I did it. It's off the list, right? So write down what you might want to do. And again, don't limit yourself. Just anything you can think of that you might want to do, be, or have, write it down. And don't stop to think about it if you're analytical. You can always scratch it out later. Just keep writing. Don't let the pen leave the paper. The big things, the little things. Also write down what you want to do for people you love, your kids, your spouse. What do you want to do for them? I bought my parents a house here in Florida on a canal, bought them a car, took them on cruises a couple times. Who do you want to do something for? I still want to pay my brother's houses off. My God, that'd be so incredible to be able to do that. By the way, guys, we'll do more for others than we'll ever do for ourselves. So you want to use that. This is the fuel. It's not about the goal. It's about getting up early, staying up late, doing whatever it freaking takes to get what you want and deserve. And this is the fuel. So, and the more clear these goals are, the faster they're going to happen. So what do you want to do in this lifetime? Who do you want to help? Who do you want to do things for? Write that down. You also want to write down what you want to learn in this lifetime. Maybe you want to learn a foreign language. I joke that I want to learn how to play the drums. Tiffy bought me a drum set. It's over in one of the other buildings here, and I still don't even know what end of the stick to use or how to set them up. But I'm going to learn how to play the drums one of these days. I want to learn how to fly a helicopter. My brother, hang on, I'll show you what my brother just got me. Smart ass got me a toy helicopter today for my birthday. So,
that's so beautiful.
So anyway, what do you want to learn? Learn how to do. Write that down. Who you want to help. Maybe you want to help your family. Maybe you want to help children like I do. Maybe you want to help the elderly. Maybe you want to do something, else in your community, something for the environment, something for animals, whatever it is. What's your passion? Write that down. So it's not just, okay? Everything you want to do, be, or have. So keep writing, Okay, how much money do you want to net from how much cash flow do you want from your investments, say in 3 years? How much cash flow do you want in 10 years? Write that down. Everything. Big things, little things. You want a car? Do you want a piece of jewelry? Do you want some clothing? Do you want a $10,000 shopping spree in Vegas? Write it down. Do you want to retire your spouse? So not just the stuff, but everything. Just keep writing. We're only going to go for another 60 seconds on this, then we're going to shift gears. But again, you should go back and do this again. You should do this at least twice a year, because the more clarity you get around your goals, clarity is power. The more clear they are, that's why I have pictures of them, because that helps me visualize them, and it's so incredibly powerful. So keep writing. Just another 30 seconds to go, and then we're going to go through a couple other steps here. Okay. Now, what I want you to do next is I want you to pick your number one goal. I mean that goal that if you got it, it would be like, oh, good God, this is unbelievable. That goal. Find that goal and put it in the spot provided for your number one goal. Now, if there are a few goals that are equally juicy and exciting, just pick one, because it's not going to matter for what we're doing here in a second. Then I also want you to pick at least a couple of your top 1 year goals. Okay. Oh, I'm sorry. I forgot to have you do a step here. A really important step. I need you to look at each goal, and I need you to write down how long it's going to take you to achieve it in years. Okay. So you're going to put, by each goal, you're going to put a 1, a 3, a 5, a 10, or even a 20. So put a number by each goal. How long do you think it's going to take you to achieve it? And don't overthink it. Just guess. Recognizing that as human beings, we will overestimate what we can do in a year and massively underestimate what we can do in 20 years. Awesome, Lisa. You did a vision board and some vision casting. Love it. Love it. Yeah, so write a number by each goal. And some goals will take longer. I will tell you that when I was 18, I knew I wanted to live on the beach. And there's no beach in Denver, except there's a lake that's got a little beach. But I wanted to live on the real beach with palm trees and sand and all that. And so I'd visualize that. 20 years later, I built this 10,000 square foot, $8 million mansion on the beach. I had the beach on one side. I had my boathouses on the back side. It was a Gulf to Bay. It was magnificent. But it was unthinkable when I was 18. So again, don't limit yourself. Took 20 years, but I made it happen, and you can do the same. You can do it faster, honestly. But put a number by each goal. How long do you think it's going to take? And again, don't overthink it. And then after that, you're going to pick your number one goal and 2 or 3 of your top 1 year goals. Even if you only have one, it doesn't matter. But I want you to have at least a couple of goals that you put in the spots provided. Don't work on the why yet. Just write the goal. Just once you've got a number by each goal, transfer the number one goal and at least 1 or 2 of your 1 year goals, your top ones, to the spots provided, please. I'll let you be for a minute. I cannot believe it's 2020. I can't believe I'm freaking 60 years old today. I'm like, holy cow. We were telling funny stories about growing up with, everybody told a story they remembered about me, and there was some pretty crazy stuff. But
Rod, you're only few months away from me. Remember we have the same year?
Yeah. I just can't believe how time flies. It's crazy. Crazy. That's why these goals are so important, guys. Time is going by so fast, so you want to move on this stuff. There's nothing you can't do, nothing. Lisa, that form is on the web. Where did you guys put that, Michelle? On the Facebook page or somewhere?
Yep, in the women's page, there's a post, and I can also send, if they PM me, I can also send it to them.
Yeah, if you can text 2020 goals to 41411, it's a direct download there too. 2020 goals to 41411, Lisa. But don't stop. I mean, write them on a separate sheet of paper now, just so, because we're going to keep moving here, and I don't want you to miss any of this. All right, so you've got a number by each goal. You have picked your number one goal, and you've picked at least 1 or 2 of your top 1 year goals. Put them in the spots. And look up at me when you're done so I know that I can move on, because it looks like many of you are still writing. So I'm going to wait a minute. Yeah. You guys are doing great. Gives me a chance to have a piece of this licorice. Okay. Now, the goals are very important, but writing down why the goals are an absolute must is the real fuel. Okay? You know, we walk around saying, I should do this. I should be a better mother. I should be a better wife. I should, you know, focus on my health. I should exercise more. I should eat better. I should. We should all over ourselves, guys. We need to make them musts, okay? So why must you achieve those top two goals? I want you to write a paragraph. I want you to use emotionally charged words so we can have freedom, so we can do whatever we want, whenever we want, wherever we want, bring whoever we want. I want you to write whatever it is for you that's going to juice you, okay? Why it's an absolute must, so I can retire my husband, so we can live the life of our dreams, so we can finally be free, so we can spend more time with each other, spend time with our kids, whatever's really important to you, the real why. Write that why down, because this is the fuel, guys. This is what's going to get you to get up early, stay up late, plan, get organized, do whatever it takes to make this happen. So write down why it's a must, and use emotionally charged words like amazing, incredible, beautiful, loving, whatever. Words are so powerful. You want to use them. So use words that juice you. Magnificent. So we can live the beautiful life we've always dreamed of. Whatever it is for you. Use those words to move you, because they will. Why is it an absolute must? So I can show my kids what success looks like. So I can show my husband or boyfriend what success looks like. So we can do whatever we want. So we can give to other people. So we can contribute to the things we love. So we can add value to the people we love. Whatever it is, what's going to push you? This is where the rubber meets the road, guys. So, you know, and if you finish one, go to the next one and put upon why it's an absolute must. Remembering that we'll do more for others than we'll do for ourselves. So I can show my kids what it means to really be successful. So they model me and they can see success. You guys are doing great. Okay. Once you've got, you know, like one paragraph done, that's fine. You can finish this later, but I want you to do something else. And this isn't going to feel good. I want you to write down what happens if you don't achieve these goals and make it freaking painful. So I don't feel like a failure. So I don't live a life of regret. So I don't fail my children. So I don't fail my husband. Make it painful. Because as human beings, we will do more to avoid pain than gain pleasure. And this is the fuel, guys. You want to use this to get you to work. Because it's all about massive action. You know, it doesn't matter what the vehicle is. It can be multifamily real estate. It can be entrepreneurship. It can be babysitting. It doesn't matter. But you got to take massive action. That's the key. So write down what happens if you don't get the goal. So I fail at life. I live a life of regret. I fail my children. There was a nurse in Australia named Bronnie Ware. She was a hospice nurse, and she counseled patients at the end of their lives. And she asked them a question: what are your biggest regrets? And she wrote a book about it. It's called The 5 Regrets of Dying. You want to know what the number one regret was? My own life. It was living someone else's life, not doing what I'm capable of. Screw that, guys. No regrets. That's why we do this, because you got to have this fuel. So put a little pain in there. Okay. Give you nothing, just another minute. And again, I highly recommend you go back and finish this, but I want to add as much value as I can to you guys. So the next thing I want you to do is, you've just written down these amazing goals. You know, you are ahead of 90 people on the freaking planet already, and we're not even done yet, okay? I want you, in the spot provided, to write down the person it's going to take to achieve these goals, because what got you here is not going to get you there, okay? So what are the qualities that you're going to have to own that are already inside of you to reach these goals? A fearless, driven warrior, a loving, grateful influencer, a courageous, giving empowerer. What are the qualities that you already own that you just have to bring out to achieve these incredible goals you just wrote down? Because I will tell you, the more you can associate with that person and that persona and what you aspire to, the more it pulls you into it. That's why you need to associate with those qualities, own those qualities. They're already there. You just got to bring them out. Fearless, giving, loving leader, an entrepreneur, courageous, definitely grateful for sure. Everything, foundation for everything is gratitude. Grateful, giving, loving, nurturing, relentless, determined, focused. What are the qualities you've got to own to achieve this incredible success that you deserve and you are going to get? Even more success than you already have, because every one of you is already successful. Even more success. By the way, guys, we are not achieving to be successful, to be happy. We are happily achieving. You're going to get much further faster owning that happiness and owning your success and owning your power right now. You're going to get where you want to go much faster. So who are you going to become? Nice job, guys. Okay. I want to share something else with you now. I want to share the power of getting images around you, okay? I've got these vision boards. I've had them for a long time. But let me share some personal examples and some public examples of utilizing the power of visualization to get what you want in life, okay? I'll give you a public example. Jim Carrey, flat broke, wrote himself a check for $10 million. He used to go up by the Hollywood sign in LA. He would look at it and visualize cashing it. That's how much money he made for Dumb and Dumber. It's another great example. Walt Disney, when Epcot Center was completed, he had already died. It was the last park here in Disney World in Orlando, near where I live. And Roy Disney was at the grand opening. And a reporter went up to Roy Disney and said, you know, it's a shame Walt didn't get to see this. And Roy looked at him and said, the only reason you're seeing this is because Walt saw this, okay? The power of visualization. I show a picture of a rocket engine at my live event that I saw with my son Miles when we went to Cape Canaveral, and to imagine that someone thought of this and built it. If you saw one, it just blow your mind how complex it is. But I'll give you another great example. There was this millionaire in New Orleans, and he adopted a classroom in a school where only about 19% of the children ended up going to college. It was a teen, something, I don't remember the exact number, but it was in the teens. All he did was he paid to take those kids in a bus to a local college, okay? And they paired them up with a student, a college student. So every grade school kid was paired up with a college student and spent the day with them. They went to the classes, they went to the cafeteria, they went to the library, they walked around campus. They got to experience college life. So they were able to visualize it, okay? Then they bust them back home. This was for one day. Then all they did for the next 3 years was every day they had the children close their eyes and visualize themselves going to school, going to college. Over 80% went to college, guys. That's the power of visualization. Now, I'll give you some personal examples. When I got my real estate license, when I turned 18, I got this 4-door Ford Granada because I thought I had to have a 4-door car. In fact, we were just talking about it tonight at dinner because I had sold it to some lady on terms and we had to go to Nashville and fly there and drive it back. My brother and I were talking about the road trip, bringing this piece of crap Granada home. But anyway, so, but it was an ugly car. It was a piece of you-know-what. But I always wanted a Corvette. And a friend let me drive one. And it was like, oh my God, I've got to have this. So I got a picture of a Corvette out of a magazine and I put it on the visor of my bone ugly Ford Granada. And within a year or two, I had a beautiful Corvette. I'll give you a couple more car examples. Please know that this is not me bragging because this stuff doesn't even interest me anymore. But back then was a TV show called Magnum P.I. The actor was Tom Selleck, and he drove this Ferrari 308. And I thought that was the coolest freaking thing I'd ever seen. I got a picture out of a magazine, because this was before the internet. Got a picture out of a magazine of that car, put it on the visor of my Corvette. Within a year or two, I had a Maserati look just like it. Last example. I'm the guy that always wanted a Lamborghini. I had the posters in my bedroom. I used to visualize driving one. And my son collected models of cars, and he had a model of the exact, he had like 40 of these exotic cars, everything from Porsches to Ferraris to Lamborghinis and Aston Martins and everything else. But he had a model of the exact same color and style Lamborghini that I ended up getting. So I want to share something else with you. This is my planner, okay? I use a paper. There it is, Wednesday, January 8th, my birthday. Okay. In the back of this thing are pictures I have had for 20 years, okay? They're dog-eared, they're in plastic. The first pictures are my gratitude pictures. I have a gratitude vision board. I'll show you that in a second. Pictures of my kids when they were young. My daughter is 29 in a week, and my son is, I think, 25 now. So gratitude, again, everything starts from gratitude. Make sure you do a gratitude vision board or have gratitude pictures. Then the houses that I wanted. Now, what's crazy is that house on the beach, the view looked exactly like this. I had 80 feet of glass that was butt together, and the floor was this travertine marble, just like this picture, okay? Before I ever had the house. This is, I live in a compound now, and see the wall here? Look behind me. See that wall? This was 20 freaking years ago, guys, and that's what my house looks like now. I live in a compound now. I've got 6 buildings, giant main house, beautiful guest house where my best friend is at right now, 2-bedroom guest house. I've got an exercise room. I've got a video studio. I mean, it's spectacular. And that house on the beach I lost when I lost everything. And because God's got a sense of humor, I can see it out my backyard. It's like behind me to the left. But you know, and then other stuff, you know, I've got a few $100,000 worth of watches, stupid shit that I thought was important. The Lamborghini before I ever got it. Okay. The Rolls Royce, the Bentley, all this stuff that I got because I have pictures. So the last thing, go get pictures on Google of all the things that you want. And they may not be exactly what it is, but when you look at them, they like juice. You're like, ooh, man, that feels good. They stir you. Download them. Go to Walgreens or CVS. Have them blown up. Let me show you here. I've got pictures of yachts here now in front of me, okay? And that experiential piece is really important. I told you I drove the Corvette. I want to have a yacht. I took Tiffy to the Amalfi Coast, and there were yachts everywhere, and it was just so spectacular. I want to rent one or buy one and go around the Horn of Italy. I want to go to Spain. I want to go to Greece, Croatia. So the experiential piece is important. Go test drive the car you want. Go to an open house of the type of house you want. I went to the Fort Lauderdale Boat Show like 2.5 months ago, and I bullshitted my way onto some big yachts, and I sat in the captain's chair. I laid on the bed. I walked around like I owned the damn thing, like I, visualized it, because it works, guys. So please trust me on this. Again, this is how I had $50 million to lose in the first place and how I recovered from losing it, which I've got to tell you is not easy, because I focused on what I wanted and why I wanted it. And I had pictures around me, like I said. But it all starts with gratitude. There's my gratitude board. My kids. I gave my brother a $40,000 Rolex. My foundation. So this stuff works. Get the pictures. All right. What else? One other thing. about 2 months after I moved into my house on the beach, I mean, this thing that I'd worked for 20 years, okay? This house was magnificent. I could go on and on about the features. I mean, a giant waterfall from the second floor balcony of the pool. On the second, there was this giant spiral staircase that went up through the middle. I mean, this was giant, not like a little thing. I mean, it was magnificent, wrought iron with brass balls and entwined in. It was just beautiful. But on the second floor, I had an aquarium 20 feet, custom made, curved around the spiral staircase, viewable on both sides, had sharks in it. The aquarium was, I think, about $160,000 or $170,000. Okay, so that gives you an idea of the house. Well, 2 months after I built it, I'm floating in the pool at night. My family's inside sleeping. The pool's changing colors at night. And I'm looking up at this testament to my ego, which is really what it was. I built this house to prove the world I was good enough, that I mattered. Okay, that's the truth of it. I mean, it's embarrassing to admit, but it's the truth of it. So I'm looking up at this thing, and I got really depressed. And I'm like, what the hell? I've just achieved success on a multiple of 1,000 by societal standards. How could I possibly be depressed? Well, there were several things happening. First of all, and this ties into the goal conversation, never achieve a big goal without having other goals lined up behind it. Because like the good book says, without a vision, the people perish. You've got to have a vision for the future. And I didn't know what I was going to do next. That was one thing. The second thing, well, there are three things actually. The second thing is happiness comes from growth and progress. It doesn't come from the goals. You have to be progressing and growing. The goals will juice you. They'll push you. You will become a better person because of your pursuit of them. But it's never about the goals. It's about who you become and who you grow into, okay? But the bigger thing was I had totally focused on me. It was all rod. Show the world I'm good enough. Show my matter. Show my matter. And I went to a Tony Robbins event, thank God, because I got one of his books. I'm like, man, this is cool. So I went and saw him, and I found out he fed families. And so I decided to feed families. And I'm blessed to say I've fed over 75,000 children here in 18 years. I've done tens of thousands of backpacks filled with school supply for local children. I've done over 10,000 teddy bears to local police departments for officers to keep in their cars. And this is not me bragging. This is me to inspire you. If you're not already doing something back, do it immediately. It doesn't have to be big, but you want financial success. That's why you're on this call. I'm here to tell you, first of all, financial success without that piece is empty, as evidenced by my story, okay? And I'm sad to say, I interview gazillionaires on my podcast that I recognize are like I was back then, okay? They're focused on themselves, and they're not happy. They're not fulfilled. They're successful, but they're not fulfilled. So I'm here to tell you, if you're not already doing it, many of you I'm sure already are. If you're not, pick something and give back, because you will achieve the financial success faster if you do, okay? So if nothing else, do it for a selfish reason, but what you'll find is it's more important than anything else. So I just want to leave that message. Okay, I think I can turn this music off now, but yeah, maybe I'll leave it on. It might be nice to leave it on. Okay, so what I want to do now is I want to talk about some strategies for success. Now, I told you my story, and what's critical is that you, like Napoleon Hill says, you have to have a burning desire. You have to really want it. And that's why, you know, if these goals aren't juicing you, you know what, hang on. I want to print myself some notes just so that, give me 1 second, guys. Okay, I need to have a drink anyway. Just give me 1 second. I don't want to miss anything, and I want to try to give as much as I can to you in the time I have. This is what I'm going to share with you is actually a keynote that I'm working on. I've been practicing, but so that I don't miss anything, I want to get my notes printed. Give me 1 second. I definitely want you to go back and finish this goal setting exercise. And again, it's really powerful to do it with your significant other or your children if they're, 10 years old or older. Very powerful. It's also very powerful to have them create a vision board. Because again, how are you ever going to get what you want if you don't know what it is with clarity? It's so important. Okay. All right. So you got to want it. Okay. And that's what we just did. So if those goals don't freaking juice you, then you do this again and find things that really juice you. Okay. Very, very important. Like Napoleon Hill in his book, Think and Grow Rich, says you have to have a burning desire. You have to have that hunger, because that's what it's going to get you to push through fear. That's what's going to get you to push through any limiting beliefs that you have. Very, very important. Or to get uncomfortable. You know, the comfort zone is a warm place, but nothing freaking grows there. So you got to push yourself. You got to have the fuel. This is the fuel. Okay. If, you know, even average ability with burning desire equals success. Okay. You got to find what it is you love, find your mission and purpose in life. And you've got to want success as much as you want to breathe. You know, you can't be average, guys. So very, very important. Now, I told you want to have pictures of your goals, and it's also very, very important to have positive expectation, to be optimistic about this. Okay. You know, it's so easy to focus on pain and struggle. You know, if you go up to somebody and you ask and they say, how you doing? And they say, oh, I'm freaking fantastic. Life is so amazing. You kind of step back and like, oh, but it's killing me. Oh, you know, these kids are driving me crazy. They'll be like, oh, sister, I feel you. See, we connect with pain and suffering. Don't fall into that trap, my friends. Have positive expectation and guard at the door to your minds. There's so much crap out there. Don't get me started on politics, but you know, so much negative stuff out there. That's why I don't watch the news anymore. You know, if you don't listen to my Own Your Power clips, I hope you'll check them out. I mean, we just hit 7 million downloads, and I know that's the reason, because, you know, people don't remember what you said. They remember how you made them feel, and you really get juiced. Even if you're not doing multifamily real estate, you'll get juiced if you listen to those. But you know, even go on YouTube, find quality content and bring that in. Don't bring in all the crap. Very important. Okay. And then remember this, you choose the meaning of what happens to you. Two people can have the same thing happen to them, and it can destroy one person and build the other person up. So life is about meaning. So you choose. And I would encourage you to put positive meanings even on negative things. Shift meanings. And don't sweat the small stuff. There's a book, Don't Sweat the Small Stuff, and it's all small stuff, because it is. And then I would also, all right, I can't deal with the music. Sorry. I thought I could do it, but I can't. All right, so I want you to also embrace the power of I am statements, okay? So anything you put the words I am in front of is an identity statement. In psyche, then the need to remain consistent with how we identify ourselves. So I'll show you some examples in my room. Okay, you can see I am success. I'm a business genius. I'm the best in the world at what I do. Over here, I'm in determination. I am focus. I am execution. I'm health and energy. Okay? Now, those are not ego. Those are what I'm aspiring to be. But I have yelled that stuff at the top of my freaking lungs, exercising, because it gets in the fiber of your being. So if there's some trait that you really know you want and need to embody, make an I am statement around it. And when you're exercising, yell it out. Running down the street, who cares who sees you? It doesn't matter. The average people won't do what it takes to be a success. And people ask my kids, does he do this? I'm telling you, I do this at least once a week in my exercise room, screaming this stuff at the top of my lungs. God's wealth, avalanches of abundance. Thank you, God. I am success. I'm the world's greatest husband. I am business genius. You know, on and on and on. I yell this stuff and get it into my psyche because it works. All right. Now, many of us, I want to talk about pushing through fear and limiting beliefs. Many of us have these, okay? I immigrated when I was 6. I didn't speak English. I got my butt kicked at school. I found out what bullies are. I got humiliated on the playground. I tell these stories at my live event, but, you know, I came up with this question based on the fact that I didn't feel like I was good enough. And my question was, how can I show them I'm good enough? You know, which is a horrible question. Many of us have these. You know, they have these, I'm not smart enough. I'm not good looking enough. I'm not analytical enough. I'm not influential enough. I'm not courageous enough. They're just stories, okay? They're just circuit breakers in many cases so that we don't get disgusted with ourselves. Don't fall into that trap. And if you've got one of these belief systems, and by the way, there's a reason the acronym for belief systems is BS, because 99.9% of them are BS. They're an emotional event that may have happened to us that we believe created this factual situation that has no basis in fact. Our juvenile brain, you know, attached emotion to it, so we believe it's factual. When this crap pops up, guys, I want you to drag it out into the daylight, okay? And consciously think about it with your adult rational mind. Shine your adult rational spotlight on it consciously every time it happens. The more often you do that and you recognize that it's BS, the smaller it gets. It's not going to happen the first time, the second time, the 10th time. But I'm telling you, you do it enough and it'll be gone, okay? Mine is gone. I used to be an incredible introvert. I wouldn't even raise my hand in class, terrified that the teacher would call on me. Now I'm, you know, next week I'm in front of 600 people. So it's, you know, you can beat anything. And I'm just telling you, but the key is consciously. So pull it out consciously. Now, the next thing I want to talk about, taking that first step. Okay, Dr. Martin Luther King says, you don't have to see the whole staircase. Take that first step in faith. Step will be revealed. Guys, you can drive all the way across the United States at night with your car headlights showing 50 feet in front of you and make it all the way across. It's the same thing with your goals, but you got to take the first step. You got to take action. Okay. Yes, you may make some mistakes and you may get your nose bloodied, but if you've got your goals in your mind's eye and you hit a wall, you focus on those goals, you change your approach, and that's a success strategy. And then you just keep doing that over and over again. You get stopped, you change your approach, focus on the goals, move forward again. I can't tell you how many times I've done that. I've been on the edge of failure, changed my approach, turned into a $10 million company. So that's important. Lao Tzu, the Chinese philosopher, said the journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. There's the law of the first deal. That first deal is always the hardest. It's the scariest. It's the most stressful. And then once you're done, you're like, oh my God, my students. And then they're like dominoes. I mean, it's like, we've got these testimonial pop-ups at my live events, and somebody says a warrior and they've got 300 units. We have to keep scratching the number out and putting new numbers in because they're buying so many doors. So guys, this stuff is, that first step is critical. All right. Then you have to totally commit. Okay. You have to decide. And a decision means, in the Latin root of the word decision, means to cut off. There is no escape. You are done. It is freaking done. It's not one foot in, it is done. Okay. You're not thinking about it. You are doing it. Okay. Total committed. When you're committed, you're like a train on a track. There is no resistant, just interested, you can get knocked off track. But if you're committed, it's done. Okay. You know, motivation will get you started, but commitment is what brings you home. And again, it's not a 1 foot in, 1 foot out sort of a thing. It is total, absolute commitment. And then you actually also have to take 100% responsibility for your life. It's not your husband. It's not your kids. It's not your dog. You own every the negative that happens to you. Okay. When you do that, it is so freeing and empowering. Okay, so don't shirk responsibility. Just take it. Somebody says, I'm scared of this. Say, get the hell out of the way. I'll handle it. Okay, that's how you conquer the thing, you know, your fear and the things that you want. Well, next thing I want to talk about is focus. Focus is power. Okay, where focus goes, energy flows. And if you have incredible focus, you will have incredible results. What you focus on grows larger. Now, that is positive or negative. I have people reach out to me all the time and say, I need to get rid of my debt. And I say, wrong statement. You need to make enough money so debt is no longer an issue. Okay? Because whatever you focus on is going to get bigger. They asked Mother Teresa if she was anti-war. She said, no, I'm pro-peace. See the difference? Okay, so it's critical that you focus on what it is you want, not what it is you don't want, which is hard to do sometimes. Guys, when I lost $50 million, it's pretty easy to focus on my pain and woe is Rod, but I didn't. I got around people that wanted more, focused on what I wanted, and boom, I'm back. Okay, now, another thing is you'll typically see me in a black t-shirt. This is what I wore to dinner, and I didn't put my black t-shirt on just because I'm lazy, but I usually have a black t-shirt because we are making decisions all the time, and focus is so important, and you can get what's called decision fatigue. And so typically I'm in a black t-shirt that says, hey, loser, put something nice on tonight. And so then I'll dress up. But otherwise, I'm in a black t-shirt and I'm in flip-flops, and that is my uniform. And that's how you'll see me at the event next week, because I don't want to think about what I have to wear. Decision fatigue. Now, I will say this. There's only one podcast I listen to. It's Tim Ferriss's. And Tim Ferriss, what he does, and I get excited because I had 7 million downloads total. He gets that a month, okay? So he's like a broadcasting space. But he's really good at deconstructing world-class performers. So what he does is he interviews billionaires like Ray Dalio. He interviews politicians, the best in the world at what they do, the best actors, Schwarzenegger, Jamie Foxx. Oh God, he just had this other, but anyway, really best of class, best CEOs. And I started noticing a pattern, and that is they all freaking meditate. So guys, if you are not doing some form of meditation, I highly recommend you do. And why do you think they meditate? Because it enhances focus, and focus is power. So the more focus you have, the faster you're going to achieve success, my friends. And I will tell you, I've got this cool app, and I'll show it to you. Phone's been blowing up with all the love today. It's called Pizziz, okay? And, oh, that's not it. There we go. Okay, it's called Pizziz, P-Z-I-Z-Z. And when you click on app, or you can do focus. Focus is like the meditation. And I think it's free. I use Nap. If you hit the button, you can set the time that you want, and it'll put you to sleep. And I'll do an 8-minute nap, and I will actually fall asleep for about a minute or two, and I'm totally refreshed. So anyway, just a tip there. Kind of a next thing, strategy for success. You must play to your strengths, okay? If you try to build your weaknesses, it will slow you down. Play to your strengths. Strengths are your greatest assets. Don't try to maximize weaknesses. You're going to get successful much faster if you maximize your strengths, and you either hire, align, or partner for your weaknesses, okay? Because when you love what you do, if you're trying to build your weaknesses, you're not going to love what you do. There's a reason they're your strengths, because you love them. Focus on your strengths. When you focus on your strengths and you love what you do, success is inevitable. Now, I'll give you a great example in the multifamily space. You're going to find people that are extroverted and outgoing, and you're going to find people that are super introverted and analytical. Those are matches made in heaven, okay? Because multifamily real estate's a team sport. I have a Robert. Thank God I have a Robert. Robert's my CFO. He's a CPA deals. In fact, he's with Adam Beckstedt and somewhere in North we've got another 500 doors we're going under contract on, some great deals. I wanted to be there, and my wife said, no, you're not leaving. She wouldn't tell me why. It was because my friend was coming into town. I was supposed to be in Cincinnati right now. But anyway, the point is, I've aligned with Robert because I've become the extrovert, which is not what I was to start, I will tell you, but it was in there. I just needed to pull it out and stop being so afraid of my shadow. But he's the analytical one, and that's a fantastic thing. So you want to figure out what your strengths are. You can do an online assessment. If you're going to the LA boot camp, we just sent all the participants this one we just purchased, and they can do their own to determine what their strengths and weaknesses are. It's called Predictive Index, but there's a lot of different ones you can do. Ask 5 of your friends to tell you what they are, and they may shock you. When I first heard mine, it kind of shocked me. It was like a duh, but I hadn't consciously thought of it. But we talked about this tonight, actually, at dinner. It was like, I remember my friend Lori Taylor, I asked her what my biggest weakness was, and she said impatience. And I'm like, you're right. And I never actually consciously thought about it. So ask your friends. It'll be very interesting. But okay, the next thing I want to talk about is, and it ties into playing to your strengths and doing what you love. If you're going to do any business, you must love it. And here's why. Because you're going to need to influence people. And the only way you're going to influence people is if you're inspirational and you inspire them. And the only way you're going to be inspiring and passionate about anything is if you love it. Okay? So if you don't love real estate, then you better freaking learn to love it. Associate, and you can learn to love it, by the way. You can associate pleasure with it. You can equate it to hunting for treasure, or you can learn to love exercise. If you hate exercise, you just associate pleasure with it. You can trick your mind, okay? But listen, if you can't learn to love it, then by God, go do something else. Life is too freaking short. Find something you love, okay? Don't settle. Don't play small. Discover what juices and inspires you and do that, because your passion and your inspiration will trigger your creativity. It'll trigger innovation. It'll eliminate fear, and you're off to the races. Okay, next thing I want to talk about, which you guys have already got the memo on, which is the power of your peer group. You guys have created an incredible peer group here, because who you hang out with is who you become. The 5 people that influence you the most in your peer group, you're going to be like them on their level of happiness, their level of health, and their financials. Okay, that's just how the world works. So choose carefully. And if you've got people in your life that are negative, that are fearful, that are poo-pooing your dreams, and sometimes they're family, I would tell you love them, but don't let them influence you. And be very careful who you choose for peers. You guys have an awesome opportunity with this group here. Maximize it. Stick with it, because you want to be around people that lift you up, that think what you think is hard is easy, that hold you to a higher standard, that say, hey, what are you doing? Quit with the pity party. Go make it happen. Go take action. That's who you want. You want people, rising tide lifts all ships. You want to be around the right group, my friends. That's why I formed my mastermind, my multifamily boardroom mastermind, so I could be around people that were bigger than I am. I got people in there with, 5,000 units, 17,000 units, and a bunch of them. And because they're pulling me up, okay? And I help them with the things that I'm good at, but you want people that are going to hold you accountable, not people that when you go to them and complain, they're like, oh yeah, I feel you. And I will tell you, sometimes people that love you will try to hold on to you and hold you back because they're afraid of losing you, or they're afraid of losing your love, or they're fearful of what you're juiced about. Just be very conscious of that, because you got to be around people that are going to hold you accountable, push you, motivate you, and hold you to a higher standard. Now, you've got to also develop habits for success. Very, very important. And, my warriors, my coaching students get gifts from me, and one of them is a book called The Slight Edge. And it's about those little decisions we make every day that traject our life up or down. So do your habits, guys. Okay, so you want positive success habits. You want, a morning ritual where you sit like I do, and I do gratitude for the things I'm grateful for. I look at my gratitude board. Then I think about, my wife, and my students, and my foundation, and I just get grateful just for a few minutes. And then I do gratitude for the things that I want as if I already have them. Okay. And sometimes I get emotional over things that I don't even have yet, but pretend that I have them. I say, thank you, God. And because it works, guys, I'm telling you, trust me on this. It absolutely works. Health is so critical. Make sure you're exercising. Make sure you're eating well. Because, guys, to be the greatest mother, daughter, wife, business person, build this side hustle while you're doing a core job or whatever it is you're doing requires energy. So it's critical. That's foundational, okay, to this. So that's a habit for success. Making sure you're taking time for your family and planning. And if you struggle being present family or with your spouse, and because you're trying to do all these different things, then like my official Facebook page and search the word planning, because I do a nice planning process. In fact, I think I just did it on that Facebook thing I did for January 1st. If you go to January 1st, I did about an hour and 20 minutes. This thing we just did on goals, but I think I did my planning process. I don't have time to do it tonight. I'm starting to fade here, but go watch it. I did it, just that process, and I'm pretty sure I did it when I did my January 1st thing too. But planning is critical. Fail to plan to fail. You've got to plan, okay? Then you've got to have incredible tenacity. In fact, I'm doing a Own Your Power clip on perseverance. You've got to be persistent. You can't give up. Bottom line is you just don't quit. It's staying power, endurance, stubbornness. Tenacity beats talent all the time, okay? It's one of the most important components for success. You just cannot give up. There's even a book about this called 3 Feet from the Goal. So many people give up right before they achieve success. I remember this with one of my companies. I was about to go bankrupt with this litigation support company. Truly, this was January of 2010. This is what I debacle. And I almost gave up, and then I changed my approach. I focused on the goal, and I tried something new, and a $10 million company. I sold it last year. I remember, you know, my first year in real estate, I made 8 grand. My second year, 10 grand. My third year, I made 100 grand. Back in 81 was decent. Changed my approach. I started knocking on doors of people in foreclosure. Boom. Everybody's afraid to do it. It's another secret. If you need to do what others aren't, you'll be a success. So you got to keep your eye on the goal, and you got to have incredible tenacity, grit, resolve, strength of character, strength of will, you know, fortitude, toughness. You got to stay focused on the goal and stay motivated no matter what happens, recognizing that every setback and every seminar and every time you get your nose bloodied is just that. It's to make you better, not okay. It's to be a seminar, and it's never a failure unless you give up or you don't learn the lesson. Okay. Sarah Blakely, the billionaire owner of Spanx. She started with 5 grand. Okay. She was on Forbes in June of this year, I think. Met her at a mastermind, because I believe in masterminds. I'm in like 3 of my own that I paid for now. But I met her in a mastermind, and she told me that her dad used to ask her, "What have you failed at today?" Would that be a great question to ask your kids, guys? You better freaking believe it. To not fear failure, because we fail our way to success. Okay. I've built 24 businesses. 20 of them have been spectacular flaming seminars. Okay. 4 of them have been worth tens. Most of them were failures, but I learned and I grew and boom. Okay. All right. The only failure is if you give up or you don't learn. Problems are feedback. And the only people with no problems are dead, okay? The key is you want better quality problems. My problem right now is I'm running out of coaches. I need coaches bad. But that's a quality freaking problem, right? So we want better problems. Okay. Lastly, I want to talk about gratitude again. It's the most important emotion we have, guys, okay? It makes us stronger when we face adversity. It's impossible to be fearful and grateful at the same time. It's impossible to be angry and grateful at the same time. It lowers our blood pressure, brings us closer to God or whatever you believe. You know, I tell the story. I wrote. You should do a gratitude journal for sure. And I did one where I wrote every day about what I loved about Tiffy. And I will tell you, there were days I did not freaking want to write in that thing because I was pissed at her. But I did it every day. I wrote in there. So what did that do? I showed up different in the relationship because I was focused on what I loved about her instead of what irritated me. She's a goofball, slow, thinks what she thinks is funny. Her jokes are like the dumbest thing you ever heard, but I love her to death. But I focused on what I loved about her. And so I showed up differently. I felt, you know, my love for her grew. And then I literally, it was 90 pages. I did a page every day and I gave it to her for her birthday. It's in her closet right there, so she can look at it anytime she wants. Her closet is her special space, you know. Anyway, so do a gratitude journal. The last thing I want to remind you of, guys, is ourselves up, want to pull other people up behind us. Contribution. I told you about, what I do. Do something. I didn't tell you that to brag. I told you that to inspire you to give back. Once you understand this multifamily business, help other people up, like Chat and Michelle and Candace here. You know, we rise by lifting other people up. Anything we want, we must give. If you want love, give love. You want happiness, give happiness. You want money, give time or give money. It comes back 1,000%, my friends. Okay, I can take a couple of quick questions. Thank you, Carolyn, for your sweet words. Thank you. The name of the book was The Slight Edge. Yeah. Finder is awesome, Lisa. Absolutely. Thank you for the birthday wishes. Yeah, if you guys haven't watched The Secret, make sure you watch that movie. I've given away 1,000 copies of that movie about the law of attraction. It was like, when I first saw it, I was like, oh my God, this is what I've been doing with the pictures of my goals. So make sure that you watch that. It is an awesome movie to watch. Any questions, guys?
First of all, Rod, thank you so very much for your time in here.
You're welcome. You're welcome, sweetie. And if anyone else had asked on my birthday, but you guys, you know, I wouldn't be here. Okay. That's how important you are to me.
We're so grateful,
okay.
Rod.
My pleasure.
We'll see you very soon. Thank you so much.
Anybody
who has a question, ladies, please take your time. This is our opportunity, a big opportunity that we have Rod Khleif here tonight.
Well, it's a treat for me too, guys. So I really appreciate the opportunity. I live to add value. You know, I get love literally every day. These thank you cards. I got extra love today because it was my birthday, but I just had somebody email me. They bought their first place today. you know, every day. And that's why I do this, because I absolutely love it. And guys, power moves to those that serve and give back. So make sure you incorporate that into your lives. I mean, I have seen chat, my God, the transformation in this woman. If you saw her when I met her, this introvert, scared, shy, and she's a force to be freaking reckoned with now. It's just so amazing to see her transformation. And so, you know, it's really a gift for me. But anyway, so no questions. I love you guys. Go make it happen. If you can come see me, come see me. Next event is Orlando in May. Keep this to yourself. The one after that will be Dallas in August. Okay, but please keep that to yourself. That's really on the DL. Anyway, love you guys. Happy New Year. Go make it happen. Everything, you just have to go get it. Okay.
Thank you so much, Rod. Happy
guys,
birthday
take care.
again.
All right. Thank you.
Rod.
All right. See you guys. Bye-bye.
Bye.